welcome to another Dumb Sports broadcast. We got a great matchup for you today with an excellent guest. Now, let's take you live inside the stadium.
Are you ready for Matt Batson's Dumb Sports Show? Today's guest at quarterback from Twitch.tv, it's Melyssa with the Y.
Welcome to Matt Batson's Dumb Sports Podcast.
So honored to be here. Thank you so much.
Honored to have you. Melyssa, where might people know you from?
Nowhere, maybe. I don't know. I kind of just like quietly eased my way into, I guess, the Kind of Funny community. I was a longtime lurker, and then I just started chatting and going from there. So I mod for Andy on Twitch on his separate Twitch channel, and then I'm just on Twitter a lot. So I just started Twitch streaming. So
I remember you first popping up with the Attack on Titan watch throughs.
Yes,
and
every time Nick sees me, that's all he says about. Tim too,
right?
But yeah, I'm the Attack on Titan person
expert.
From
Do you,
3-4 years ago.
Do you? Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Do you still like watch it?
No.
Yeah. that's the best part is their attention span is just like Melyssa Attack on Titan. She's
Melyssa Attack on Titan.
Expert,
that was 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
I'm like,
nope.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah.
That's me, but it's still me. So.
And then you're also a Twitch streamer. You've been streaming Sekiro lately, and then you finished Bloodborne.
Yes, I just started last month, I guess the end of January, I started, and it's mostly a way to get me to play games that I just wouldn't, I don't know if I would play on my own. Like I'd started Sekiro and I'd started Bloodborne, but I just wouldn't finish through with them. I had really no motivation, and I get frustrated easily with games. So
me too.
But this is a good way to push through and have people, a lot of people who watch are friends and stuff. So just to have somebody else. It's like when you were kids and you have like a friend watch you play a game, just to motivate you. Be like, yeah, we both want to see this game and just see how far it goes. So, I was able to beat Bloodborne, which was really crazy. I didn't think I would do it, and playing Sekiro is incredibly frustrating, but it's also a lot of fun. So, I plan on playing, mostly the rest of the Dark Souls games and Demon Souls, and I have a bunch of other things lined up. And now with my new PS5 on the way,
congratulations! I totally forgot I was going to open the show with that, with congratulating you.
Congrats on my new PS5! Woo! That's what the cheers are all for.
It's funny that I was making your intro today, and I was like, oh, let me get some Twitch clips.
I don't have too many, and then, I'm sorry about that.
No worries at all. I mean, for most people, I'll just use a picture anyways, but I was like, it's great, I can use these clips. And I was like, oh, it's so great. She's wearing her Cowboys jersey in this clip, and I was like, oh, this is today.
This just happened. So people think they're going to see the clips,
yeah,
see the intro.
It was live.
Me wearing this, and then me going right into this, change? Should she wear anything else but this? No, I live and die in this jersey, this Van Der Esch jersey.
That was live. That was a live reaction from you. Yeah. Those clips were live. We're actually in the stadium right now. We're in AT&T Stadium.
Oh yeah, AT&T Stadium.
The crowd's watching. They're loving it. They're eating it up.
Yeah, they watched me get that PS5, and they were so stoked for me, and I really appreciate it. It was a big win. Big dub today.
Big dub. So let's talk about sports,
Okay.
It's always kind of I don't know, some guests we love to just get right into sports. I don't think that's happened yet. So I don't know why I said some guests. Literally no guests.
Some people.
So yeah, it's fun to just talk around and not. I think the point of starting podcasts that have specific genres is to not talk about those genres for the most part.
Yeah, you always see that. Just they do it with most podcasts. They have the big splash title on the thumbnail. You're like, when did they talk about it? It's 45 minutes in. You're like, Jesus Christ! But that's how they get you.
That's been part of me titling these episodes and stuff is what's the big clickbaity thing I can, and I'm like, there's nothing, I don't know, we're just hanging out. There's nothing.
Definitely put secured PS5, no hacks.
Exactly.
That's stupid. Just
That's
completely dumb stuff.
exactly what we'll do. Yeah. Great. I'll write that down right now. You like the
I do.
Cowboys, obviously.
Yes, I'm a big Cowboys fan. I do football, and the NFL is like probably my favorite sport to watch and participate in. I mean, I love to play sports mostly. I like to be active in that sense. But and in terms of like watching sports, yeah, I mean, I'll watch almost anything, but I follow the NFL the most, and specifically the Cowboys. So
Gotcha. And so
everybody rags on me for it, but it's fine.
it comes with the territory, right? Like
It does, yeah.
you just gotta accept it, and you grow
I just gotta
thick
live with it.
skin out of it too.
Oh, absolutely. I
And
just get made fun of
the
constantly.
good thing is like there's a lot of you though. Like the Cowboys fan
There's
base.
dozens of us.
No, there's way more than that. And
No, I know there is.
But yeah, what was I gonna say? Now I have to edit this part out where I forget what I say.
I don't know.
I'm coming off of I think 4 hours of sleep last night and
Oh
3
my
the night
gosh.
before.
We could have postponed, Matt.
No, it's it's just we gotta. What else was this week leading up to? This is what this was all for. That's why I was losing sleep. I was
the
like,
lack of sleep. Oh no. Me too. And I'm like, oh Jesus, I gotta take a week off to prepare for this
for
this podcast. I don't know. I gotta write notes.
So I remember now.
Okay.
You're in Jersey. Did you grow up there?
Yes, I've been in Jersey my whole life. And so that's one of the big questions I get. It's like, you're a Cowboys fan in Jersey. Why aren't you a Giants or Jets fan? And Jets, like, do you have to ask that question? There's a very good reason I'm not a Jets fan.
You have to ask why anyone is a Jets fan. You have to ask.
That's true. Yeah, and there's a very good reason, and they're just bad.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the Giants, so I guess like I would casually watch football when I was younger, but I didn't really get into it until I started working at a bar. I started working at a bar when I was like 18, 19, and for a majority of my college career, I guess, I worked at the same bar. So at bars, there's big football Sunday stuff, like $2 Coors Lights and 50-cent wings and blah, blah, blah. So it's our busiest time during football season. And if you could or you wanted to, you'd wear a jersey. So I was like, yeah, like I'll be the Cowboys. And being a Cowboys fan just stemmed back to, I have 2 older brothers. One was a Cowboys fan, one was a Niners fan, and in the 90s, those were both great teams.
Exactly.
So my choice, and as like my brothers are 5 and 6 years older than me, so my choice when picking it came down to what color do I like more. I'm like, love blue.
Blue,
so,
of course, yeah.
So I've been a Cowboys fan ever since I've liked the color blue.
Nice.
But then fast forward to like as an adult, getting more into football and watching it at work. So I got a jersey. I had a Des Bryant jersey. Pretty sure that was my first Cowboys jersey, and it was a kid-sized jersey because they're cheaper and they fit fine. And I would wear it to work every Sunday, and it would just get to a point where like I would run around serving beer and wings and stuff. But then sometimes I would stop and stare and watch the game, and people who didn't know my name would call me Des. Because like they call me, then like that would get my attention. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll be right over and stuff like that. But then just getting into it more and more. So like around that time, the 2012, 2014, that was the team that I was really into was, Romo and DeMarco Murray and Miles Austin and like great players, just not fundamentally working well together.
Right, exactly. Like exciting to watch, disappointing in the end, but like it was always a great ride.
Just big 8-8 vibes.
Right.
Constantly.
The best 8-8 vibes.
Yeah, 8-8 vibes for probably I don't know, like 4 years straight. And so but like DeMarcus Lawrence, Sean Lee's still kicking around somewhere, doing whatever he wants to do, but that was all fun to watch, and that's where I really like kind of started following football and really enjoying it, despite how frustrating it was that we were so bad.
So I'm not super familiar, but obviously divisional rivals. Is the New York Dallas thing, was that a big deal in the area? Like especially working at a sports bar wearing a Cowboys jersey, would you get a lot of shit for it?
Oh my! I would get shit for 10 hours straight.
Yeah,
just like you guys suck. Well, as Giants fans, I'll say it. They are the absolute worst.
Wow, worse than Jets fans? Just because Jets fans are so miserable, they can't.
It's hard to make fun of a Jets fan. Like, and like, okay, I know, like the Giants and Eli Manning and everyone, they're a good team. I totally like, especially they beat the Patriots, they got
Right.
Super
Yeah.
Bowls.
Yeah.
I got it. I get it. Fine. Just shut up. Get over it. Stop picking on me all the damn time. But yeah, I would always get shit about it, and so it's just that kind of comes with the territory. If you're gonna, especially picking a divisional team, another divisional team
Yeah.
that's not the Giants, like that's a huge
Mhm.
rivalry between them. So
Yeah,
I
that's
get it.
always one of the most interesting things to me about the Cowboys fan base and like how big it is there's a lot of areas like that where it wasn't
Mhm.
necessarily your case in New York, but I know like in Washington, DC, in that area, there's a lot of Cowboys fans because there's so many Washington fans and they like
Yeah,
hate
yeah.
their friends or their neighbors, so they
Oh
chose
yeah,
to
there's
be a
it's
Cowboys fan.
yeah, it's just that's what like over here, like there are dozens of us.
Right.
Like there would be some. And I would always have like some customers I would go to like, "Hey, Des," like happy to see me, and we talk about the game and how things are going and how things aren't going, and talking strategy as if we're on the sidelines and like as we're trying to shake Jason Garrett, like just figure it out, like what's the problem here?
Right.
So that would just be hours talking about that, getting shit on season after season, big 8-8s, and then
Right.
getting one playoff game in, and then just getting crushed by the best team.
Yeah.
It's like this isn't fair.
Why is it
And then
you're like, "Why can't we play the worst team in the playoffs?" And they're like, "Wait a second,
right.
is that us?"
Yeah, wait a minute, that's us. That's exactly what it was.
So,
And then
also being in Jersey, have you ever gotten to go to a Cowboys game?
yes, so I've gone to what the first Cowboys game I went to, I forgot what year it was, but my uncle who lives in Virginia is and had at one point lived in Pennsylvania is an Eagles fan. So
Your
that was
family is,
also
like, all over the
yeah,
place. You're like,
we're very
red,
divided.
blue, or green, like, which one?
Yeah. We're very divided. But yeah, my uncle's a longtime Eagles fan, so he took me, my brother, and my sister-in-law to an Eagles game, playing the Cowboys. I
Yeah.
really don't remember what year it was, but we got crushed. This was
Mm,
my and we had great seats. We were like sitting like 50-yard line, probably like 11 rows back. So it was wonderful, but it was December, it was cold. We
yeah.
were in Philly and we got squished. It was embarrassing. And I was like, my first football game.
Right.
But like it was like 40 something to 10. It
Yeah.
was bad. So that
How
was like
how was it being, like, there with your uncle who's an Eagles fan? Because that's always,
oh,
like, a
sucked.
very yeah, he was not he was
He's
very
ruthless. He
yeah,
is yeah,
ruthless.
he does not show any mercy. He's very, like, likes to be a kid at heart, so he sat there and laughed at us the whole time,
Yeah.
but we still and we were, like, of course, on Eagles like, we're on the Eagles side,
Yeah.
so a lot of but still even there were some Cowboys fans, so we would cheer a little
Mhm.
bit because there's a rep, so you can't really cheer if any team that goes to Philly, it's like, good luck. Like,
Right,
just
yeah.
being a fan of the other
Those
team is
people,
like,
yeah.
woof. Like, that's tough. Um, but yeah, that was my first Cowboys game. I hadn't been I no, I didn't go to any game at MetLife,
Mhm.
because I just don't wanna be anywhere near the Giants and
Right.
or Giants fans. Just sick of it.
Yeah,
Like, as mean as the Eagles are, I just don't like the Giants
yeah.
fans.
There's
But
something,
yeah.
like, especially terrible about growing up near, like, a large fan base
Yeah.
of, like, the opposite of your team, like, of a rival or something like that,
Right.
where
Yeah.
and even if they're not necessarily a rival, like, you can hate them more than your actual rival. Because like,
Yeah.
Washington would be the Cowboys' rival, but still, it's just
Mhm.
having them around you makes everything worse.
Yeah, it makes things pretty just it's really ruthless. Like Eagles fans, I understand like their aggression and their protection of the team, but Giants fans are just mean to you specifically. So they'll just like really hit you where it hurts. I'm like,
It's not even about football to them, they're
no,
just they're
it's
just
really like
insulting.
they bleed red and blue. And I'm like, I get it, but like I'm not I can't call Jerry Jones and tell him to do something. Like it was just I just have a bad history with Giants fans, as silly as it sounds. But yeah, but working at a bar, that was like that was where that all kind of the seed was planted. It's just like, who you guys?
Gotcha. So, in again, with the stadium thing, so have you ever been
Mhm.
to AT&T Stadium, or you've only seen them for away games?
Yes, I went to ATT Stadium at in 2018. So it's just like almost well in December it'll be like 3 years, but it feels like yesterday. That
Right.
stadium is so
It's
beautiful.
insane.
the screen is big, and I was able to go. I went for a quick weekend. I have a friend who lives in like the Grand Prairie area, so I hung out with her, had Whataburger, had just like great Mexican food, and then I did the tour on Saturday,
Hmm.
and we went to the game on Sunday, and we were up in the nosebleeds, but it was such a great game. It was the game with we played the Eagles, which is so funny.
Hmm.
Play the Eagles, and it was the game that went into overtime. Uh, I know I forgot how well we were doing that season. I think relatively well, but it was an overtime Eagles game, and the winning touchdown was tipped by an Eagle and caught by Amari Cooper, and the stadium just
So
lit
cool. Yeah.
up. So I've never had that feeling before. Being
Yeah.
there as a fan is one of the most incredible feelings in the world, and especially winning afterwards. Oh my god!
Mhm.
Like I just get chills thinking about it. How much fun it was. And afterwards, we're like walking around, and I have a video of us like people outside just chanting "Eagles suck, Eagles suck," and I'm like,
Send that to
"Yeah,
your uncle.
they do suck." Oh, I definitely did. Yeah, I'm like, "This is revenge." He's like, "Shut up."
But
But
yeah,
it was such a great game.
and that stadium is super cool. Like my parents used to live out there, and we did the tour too. And it's one that it's super cool that they do tours of the stadium where you can literally go like everywhere. Like you get to go on the field,
Everywhere,
the
yeah.
locker rooms, all that stuff.
Mhm,
But yeah, it's like I'm sure there's people who are like, oh, I prefer like Lambeau or like the old stadiums, like the history and all that.
mhm.
But this new like decked
This is
out
oh my
AT&T,
god.
it's so cool. It's
It's like
one of my
a
favorite.
cyber world. Like, it's just so big,
Yeah.
and you truly feel like an ant sitting or standing on the field looking up at those giant screens.
Yes.
Like, oh my god,
Yeah.
it's just absolutely incredible, and, that's where I got this jersey. I got it's a Van Der Esch jersey. I wanted to get a DeMarcus Lawrence
Mhm.
jersey, but I don't think he had his contract signed yet, so we weren't sure if he was gonna stick
Uh,
around. So I was
gotcha.
like, "I'll go with the safe bet." I think Van Der Esch still had rookie contract left,
Right.
so I was
So you're
like, "I'll
like,
hold
he's
on to
gonna be
that
on.
one."
Yeah, he'll be on longer.
Yeah, meanwhile, then DeMarcus Lawrence gets his fucking
Right.
$98 million contract. I'm like, "Damn it." Like,
You're like, can
but
I
like
do an exchange?
yeah, right. But it was like wearing the jersey, and then like Van Der Esch getting tackles and everybody howling in the stadium because he
Yeah.
has that wolf call. Oh, so cool! It was such a fun time.
That was one of the things when I was gathering clips for your intro. Uh,
Hmm.
there was like and I'm not super familiar with the Cowboys, so I didn't know they did like howls for Van Der Esch. So
Yeah.
I took one of the clips and I was gonna use like the audio from that, but they're all
Hmm.
howling, and so I was like,
You're like,
it
what's up
sounds
with
like
that?
booing. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if Melissa should come
Yeah.
out to this.
That's so funny. There are like it's that one, it's the howling, and then when Coop would get a touchdown, it was like
Cool.
Coop, and
Yeah.
it sounds like booing too. It's we're very like diverse in our like
And all the
cheering.
chants and cheering.
Yeah. That
uh,
is so funny though.
But yeah, it's funny that you mentioned the stadium being like a cyber world and feeling like an ant, because that was literally my first thought walking up to it. I was like, this looks like a giant spaceship that would hold
Yeah,
all of humanity after the Earth is destroyed. That's what it
I
looks
like
and feels
that.
like.
Like big end game vibes.
It
Like
is for
imagine
sure.
that was like a like completely like just empty. It's so funny. Like that's like a yeah, end game Last of Us 2
Yeah, for
kind of
sure.
shit.
Yeah, Thanos is like, instead of pulling like planets down, he's like throwing the big screen at at Iron
Yeah.
Man.
That'd be so funny with like a broken like an old game coming on,
Yeah.
like an 89 game of the Cowboys.
Let's go back to, you mentioned earlier you kind of prefer playing sports. And so is that something that you grew up doing? Like was it organized sports? Was it through high school? This is like a new thing that we started doing where we rank each of our athletes that we
Oh
have
man,
on the
I will be
show.
at the bottom of the list for a long time.
So
So I did, yeah, like
go
I never
ahead.
did anything professional. Like nothing. I did track in middle school. And then my teacher wanted me to join the soccer team, and I was like, nah, because I just
Yeah,
did
yeah.
sprints.
Mhm.
And I was like, I don't want to
Run the whole game.
run the
Yeah.
whole time. Like it's a 60-minute game,
Yeah.
right? Like no, I'm good. And then around that time, that's just like I guess like in middle school and stuff, like the internet was getting really big. So I'm
Mhm.
like, yeah, fuck that. I'm gonna go sit at my computer for hours,
Exactly.
hours, and then just do that all day.
You
But and
you
then I
went
was
from like sprints, and they're like, "Do you want to run all the time?" And you're like, In fact, I'm gonna run none of the time.
Yeah, exactly. I'm actually gonna sit on my computer at 0 miles per hour and just rot my brain.
Yeah.
And so, and like before when I was like younger, I did gymnastics for about 3 years.
Yeah.
And that was just kind of a thing. I'm like, I'm bored of it now. Like I was kind of growing out of my age group, in terms of like I had teachers that were like, not to brag about when I was 8, but they were like, you're doing really well, and you're like your skill level is higher than our classes.
Right.
And I was like, well, what do I do now? And I guess I just quit. So that was that.
You could have been like Simone Biles, but we don't know about it. You know,
We'll never know.
universe.
I'm
You're the
the
one,
Simone Biles of streaming.
right? That's what's happening
the
now.
goal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the goal, to be the Simone Biles of streaming. Let's hope that pans out.
Yeah,
But
gymnastics is a weird one to me because, like, I did gymnastics as a kid too, but I don't like consciously remember any of it, and I don't
Really?
ever remember wanting to do gymnastics.
How did you get into it?
It's just a thing that like my parents signed me up for. Like I
So
I
funny.
was like little at the time, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of kids do like karate. Like I feel like that was kind of the
I
hot
tried to do
thing.
that too.
Exactly.
There's a lot of Tiger Schulmans popping up
Gotcha.
around. So I'm like, yeah, like let's do karate. My grandma's like, I don't want to drive you to karate. Like do
Right.
something else. So I just the gymnastics place was literally right around, like, you just drive down the road, get on the highway, and take the first right into the first plaza that's on the main road, and the gymnastics studio is in the back. So they're like, that's closer
Yeah,
than any
they're like, no,
karate
you don't need
studio. That's
karate. You can do that.
no, you just do backflips on this bouncy floor. And I was like, okay, and try not to break your spine. And I'm like,
I think both of those though are like on the same level of I wish I didn't stop doing those because it would be so
yes.
cool to just know how to do.
Oh, yeah, there's so many things I'm like, how cool would it be if I could do gymnastics now?
Right.
And it's like now I just like I know how to do a cartwheel and maybe a round off if I don't like hurt my back
Yeah.
or my wrists. Like it's very it's very make or break at
Yeah.
that point. So you never know.
That's probably why parents just like threw me into gymnastics and other little kids too, because they're like, oh, they're little, like they can't break anything. Teach them how to roll around, do all
Definitely
that
made a
stuff.
rubber, those kids.
Oh, for sure.
So just yeah. So it's just things I did after school. And then yeah, so that was definitely in elementary school. In middle school, I think like 7th and 8th grade I did track. And then they wanted me to do, my school wanted to recommend me to do more sports, and like even going into high school, I'm like, I got other things to worry about in high school. Like when I'm gonna get on this message board again to talk about my favorite band.
Right.
At the time. I have a lot to say.
You're like,
So
track
that's
is
kinda-
like cool, but all these
But
people
My
are
Chemical
on the same-
Romance is
yeah, it's
cooler.
cooler. I don't think anyone would dispute that.
Yeah, especially in 2006.
I would say so. Middle school track and field, though, I think that probably puts you third place on our
Yeah, I'll
list.
stay in third place.
Again, like I can't.
And just keep bumping me down.
I can't remember where Andy what his height was of his athletic career.
Yeah.
So I keep grouping him and me together, which is like middle school basketball. But
Oh, okay.
I think 7th and 8th grade track is definitely you're a better athlete than either of us. So there you go. You're number 3. You got the bronze.
Thank goodness. Bronze medal. All right, I'll take it. Any medal. Like I can't compete with Foggy, who does, or
Yeah.
Foggy. It's Foggy. I keep forgetting because there's like
Or no, it
it's
is
like-
Foggy. It is Foggy.
Oh, it's Foggy. Oh, I
That's-
mixed it up. Okay.
I
was like,
originally
trying to remember. I was like, don't get it wrong, and then I just got it wrong.
I agreed with you at first because in my head it was always Foggy, like when I would read it, and then I invited him on the show, and then I was like looking into him and stuff, and like even in the podcast I first heard him on, they announced him as Foggy, and his last name is Fogel, but every time I'd read his name, I'd just be like Foggy.
Okay. That's funny.
But
But yeah, he did what is like college soccer.
Yeah, I was like, so it just like came
That's
out of
so
nowhere.
impressive.
College soccer, and then he grew up
He
in
did-
Japan doing
Yeah,
judo.
doing judo.
I
Like,
was like, wow.
oh my god,
okay.
that guy could kick anybody's ass
Right.
and then outrun them if they try to fight him back. That's
But,
crazy.
Yeah, he's leveling up both skill sets there. It's
Yeah,
best
exactly.
of both worlds. Let's talk about Overwatch League.
Yeah.
So you're a big Overwatch fan, like in the first place?
Yeah, so when I first started playing Overwatch, I went to PAX East 2016, I think, when they like kind of debuted it. So I think that was in like April, and then the game came out in May or something. So I was able to play it there, and then just hop right into it. I played on Xbox for a really long time. And then my internet connection was really bad because I kept getting cut out of matches. So, so I was like, fuck it. So I stopped playing for a while, but I try to play a little bit online now, like on PC. But I always just love watching it. I started watching Sure4. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him as a player.
No.
Well, he's just like he was just one of the the first person I started watching play Overwatch on Twitch was Tim the Tatman.
Okay.
And then he would play with Sure4, who he was very I think he was pretty popular in CS:GO in terms of the esports popularity. But he was just a lot of fun to watch, so I just followed him. Then the Overwatch League, I think it was like 2017 maybe.
Yeah.
They started
something like that.
Yeah, so I was like, wherever Sure4 goes, I'll follow. And it was the LA Gladiators. So I'm just very loyal to it. Mostly, like I started out loyal to that one person, and at one point, Sure4 went to the Toronto. I forgot their
the
Toronto
Canadian
team.
Overwatch team.
Yeah, he went to the Toronto team, but I didn't follow because I just grown to love all the other LA Gladiators players. So that's just the way I stuck with it, and I just love Overwatch. It's so much fun to watch.
Toronto Defiant.
Defiant, yes, that's what it was.
Interesting.
Completely slipped my mind.
But yeah, I feel the same. It's such a fun game to watch. Like it really is. And yeah, I was a fan of Overwatch when I played the beta. I'm not a big multiplayer person at all.
Right.
I'm way more antisocial with my games than I am even with real life.
Me too. Yeah, so I was mostly like that too. My first real online gaming was Gears 2. My friends got me into Gears. That was like my first multiplayer thing. So Gears 2, Gears 3, we were really, really big on. The game in between 3 and 4 was totally bad. I don't even remember the name of it. It was just completely different.
Yeah, the one with Cole and
I'm forgetting his name. Blonde guy.
You know, my two favorite Gears characters, Cole and Blonde guy.
Yeah, it was really focused on them. The mechanics were different. Everything was different. And I was like, this game sucks.
Right.
And around Gears 4 came out a little bit before Overwatch did. So I played it for a little bit, and then Overwatch came in and completely took over my life.
Yeah.
And so those are my two online gaming experiences, Gears and Overwatch. And for very good reason, because I'm very competitive, and God, it's so frustrating.
It's so frustrating. And I don't know if you're like me, but like being bad when you're competitive too just hurts. It just hurts so bad. So especially with shooters where so many of my friends were good, like Call of Duty and stuff like that, and I would just be bad. And I'm like, I don't even want to play with you guys.
Yeah, I'm like, this isn't fun.
Yeah.
Who's having fun here? And like everybody but me.
But but yeah, Overwatch really helps just with like all the different characters and everything, and you always feel like you're contributing.
Right. I think that's why I liked it a lot, because Call of Duty was too like, I don't know. My brothers played Call of Duty, and it was too war. It's just about war.
Yeah,
so I'm like, I'm not interested in just being a man at war.
Right.
Like, I want something different.
Like what kind of fantasy is this?
Like Gears is funny because they're giant men,
right?
With these tiny heads, and they have shotguns, and they're fighting aliens. Like, all right, cool. Like that's fun. And then like Overwatch is like just made up cartoonish world where everybody has a different weapon, and your skill set depends on, there's different classes and stuff like that. I'm like, oh yeah, that's exactly like this is a good place to jump in to play an online game. And then I was still bad at it, but I had fun.
Same here. But yeah, and then Overwatch League, I don't know if it's the same for you, but that was really my introduction into like following esports at all.
Yeah, me too.
What do you think it is about Overwatch League that made you fall in love with it? Like, was it that you like the game in general? Because I feel like that's one of the things for me where I wasn't too into a lot of games that had esports around.
Yeah, so I think because Overwatch was one of the first competitive games that I liked to watch even before the league started. Like I watch Sure4 all the time play it and just try to get better, and as if I would learn something, but I never did. He's just too good. He had a mouse and keyboard. I was playing on Xbox, so there was never an equivalent there. But I was like, maybe I can learn something.
Right.
I never did. But Yeah, because I knew what was going on. Like I could understand the game. I'm like, I get this.
Yeah.
Like, Call of Duty and all these, and like there was at that time when learning about like esports was mostly about League and WoW and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
I am just not about that stuff.
No,
I have a lot
not
of
at all.
friends who like the top down games. I have friends who play League every night, and they're like, "Do you want to learn? Do you want to play?
Right.
Do you want?" I'm like, "No, I don't. I absolutely don't." But Overwatch was like the first game that I was interested in, and that they were starting something professional with, and I was like, "Yeah, that sounds like so much fun." Like I don't have to play; I can watch professionals play and
Yeah,
maybe learn
yeah.
something. And who knows? But it was just so much fun to watch and understand and get that part of because I liked watching football. I'm like, let me watch esports. Like that's
Yeah,
just kind of
exactly.
felt like that same vibe, and it was really fun to enjoy and have a team and cheer for.
Mhm,
Just the community was really cool to cheer with. Just having another group of people.
mhm. Just to talk, trash about League for a second, that was I always resented it because it was the game that took all of my friends away. It was like, every day me and
We
my friends would talk
we
about
need to go
video
to real life
games.
episodes, like a real
And
life I lost all my friends in League of Legends. That's so
yeah,
funny.
exactly, and then one day they just stopped talking about all video games
Oh
except for
my
League of
god. I have a couple
Legends.
friends now that like I've been in college and trying continuously trying to recruit me and a couple of other of us to join in,
Mhm.
and we just watched them play last night, and I'm like, "What's going on here? I don't understand." Like you
Yeah.
hover over an item, it has 3 paragraphs of a description.
Mhm.
I'm like, "But you just keep moving on? How do you know what that thing does?" Like it's so
Right.
confusing to look at. And but then they
Yeah.
get that, and then I try, and my one friend who does play League, I was getting her into Overwatch because we wanted to go to a
Mhm.
game when they had the live matches before the world exploded.
Yeah.
Um, so
Mhm.
she's like, I'm explaining it to her, and she's like, "This is so confusing." I'm like, "You play League? How do you? What do you?"
Right, how can
What
anything be
there's like no
confusing to
words
you?
on the screen, and there's no like 17 million number. It's just the differences are staggering. But I'm sorry that you lost all your friends to League.
Yeah. Yeah, there was one I only played one game with them, it was like a practice
Hmm.
match or something, and they're like, "Here, like, we'll help walk you through it," and I got through the game, but at the end I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
never
no,
doing this again,"
the
like,
top downs are not for
just
me.
did not.
I
No,
just
not for
can't
me
do it.
either.
But I'll play first person shooters. I'll give it a whirl. Like, all right, I get
Yeah,
this.
for sure.
And but Call of Duty is too fast for me. My baby pea brain
Mhm.
can't take it. Overwatch is
I
more my speed, I would say.
Yeah, that's where all my friends are now. They're in a lot of them are the same ones that transition from League to
Damn it.
Warzone. And it's funny because I was playing Warzone before them, and I was like, "This is great." And again, I'm playing Warzone alone. I'm like, "I'm having fun, like getting murdered
Yeah, but when
all
you
the
play with your
time."
friends who and like then you're at the bottom of the leaderboard, you're like, "This is bullshit." Like,
Yes,
is anybody else's
right.
internet really bad? Like all these pockets, like ugh,
Yeah,
so stupid. I
yeah. They started, and I'm like, "Oh, this is fun. Like we can play
Mhm.
together." And then like I take a week off, and then the next week they're like, "All right, we got to go over here. We're in this diamond
Oh
level
my god,
lobby this
yeah.
time, and like we got to do." And I'm like, "What is this gun?
Yeah.
Like, what is this shoot like one time or like?" And they're like, "Just shut up,
Exactly,
just
just
follow
follow us. I'm like,
us."
"How am I so I don't know when to shoot my gun," or like, I thought
Right.
and, like, I tried to in terms of just online multiplayers and stuff, I tried to get into Fortnite too, but that was also overwhelming. I'm like, "What's
Yeah.
a purple gun, gold gun?" Like, I
Yeah.
get the tiers of guns, but and, like, I could not build to save
Mhm.
my life, and I was like, "Ugh."
That's where I fell off with Fortnite too. I played it, one of the first times it came out or whatever, and I was like, "Oh, this is fun. This is." Because I remember at the time being super interested in PUBG, but not
Mhm.
having any way to play it. And so when Fortnite came out, I was like, "Oh, it's cool. Like I'll play it." And I had fun. I played like maybe 2 games, and then I stopped, and then it blew up, and then everybody was building. I was like, "Oh, I
Yeah,
cannot do
seeing
that.
towers
I
go
do
up
not
at, like,
have."
lightning speed, I'm like,
Yeah.
how many
Mhm.
like, do you have 3 extra fingers to hit all those buttons to build this tower? Like, I just can't comprehend. Overwatch
Yeah.
is just my perfect
It's
there's, like,
insane.
7 buttons, and I can almost figure it out. So, I'm gonna stick with that one.
I I think one of the things for me too with that, because I didn't fall in love or like start watching any specific Overwatch streamers, but I think the city aspect was
Mhm.
really cool to me. and like Atlanta having a team, and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like I'll follow
Yeah.
them and stuff. So that was one of the cool things that
That is
I
really cool.
really
And I remember
appreciated.
I forgot who was on Atlanta that I didn't really enjoy. There's just some like trolley kids that were on.
There's a lot
Yeah.
of them.
Oh,
Is it
it
Baby
was
Bay or
DeFran.
was it
It was
Dog
DeFran.
Man? Oh,
Def-
DeFran. Yeah, everybody loved
exactly. And I'm like,
DeFran
nope, not about
on our
it. Like,
nope.
yeah, I like Baby Bay. But yeah, like
Yeah.
DeFran and Dogman, I'm like, ugh, just
Yeah.
a bunch of punk kids. Like,
That that was kind of my favorite thing, like discovering Overwatch League and like all of these different players was the
Mhm.
names, and I'm like immediately Dogman is my favorite just because I
Yeah,
like the name
exactly.
Dogman. I'm like, this is my
Yeah,
personality.
with the gladiators,
Um,
like Surefour is he's very like quiet and is very like versatile as a player. So he was mostly using flex
mhm.
but doing DPS stuff. So it was fun to watch. And then there was like there's a Finnish duo for our healers, and it was just like felt like just a very nice wholesome team. And I was like, I like you guys. Like everyone's so sweet and get along and
Yeah,
it's so
exactly.
cute and like a lot of fun. But yeah, I just remember like watching like DeFran like joke around and doing like
Right.
tactical crouches. I'm like, this guy's ruining the integrity of Overwatch League.
Right. If we were to start an Overwatch League team, what role would you play? Who's your main? And what is your name
Oh
gonna
wow.
be? What is
I
your what's
I
on your
think if I
jersey?
could fit Melissa with a Y, I'd probably do it.
Right.
But if not, I'd probably just have just Melissa because I'm
Just
not a big
I
nickname person. I don't like
right.
some people. I'll never like correct somebody if they're like, "Oh, Mel" or "Liz" or what. I don't like to correct people
Right.
with that, but I don't. I'm always like I introduce myself as Melissa, and that's just how it is. So I would just
I would like all of these ridiculous names and then just on the
Is it
back of one jersey,
Melissa? It's like,
Melissa.
"Hi, that's me." Like,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it would be. Um, my role would probably be healer. Like, that
Yeah.
was just kind of when I first started playing Overwatch, everybody else would lock to, DPS and I'm like, "Well,
Exactly.
we need a healer, like, I might as well." So,
Exactly. Yeah.
uh, I definitely played a lot of Lucio. Lucio was my first gold weapon. Yeah, it
Same
was just
here.
so much
Yeah.
fun. Lucio or Zen, I would probably those would be my 2 mains. If I had to, like, flex onto another, role, it'd probably be tank. So I'd probably like Reinhardt or
Yeah.
Diva, something like that. What about you?
Mhm. There we go. Pretty much the same on all of those. Like Lucio. So we would have
Okay,
two
good.
Lucios, and then I also play Reinhardt, so we can maybe do
We
that.
couldn't be on the same
And
team. Like, you guys are the exact copies.
yeah, the exact same player. Yeah. So yeah, already one of
Yeah,
the best
great.
teams
Of
in the
course,
league.
2
So there we
Lucios,
go.
that's the best. Just booping everybody out of the way. How annoying would
That's
that be?
that's all you need. Yeah. No real guns, no
No,
real
just
damage. We're
punching
just
and jumping around and
booping
booping
people
people off
off
the
the
edge.
edge.
That was like
Are you excited for
I'm
Overwatch
super
2?
excited because that's gonna be whenever it comes out. I know they said like it's probably pushed back to like 2022. I think that's what like
Yeah.
they said it's not coming out this year. So, but I'm excited to hop in on PC this time because I've just been
Mhm.
slowly practicing trying to get my PC gameplay down. Um, and that's just the one game, especially that there's a single player mode I could practice on. I could practice with
Mhm.
the mouse and
For
keyboard and stuff.
sure. Yeah.
But I definitely want to hop back into the online play, and I never got past. Trying to think of the medals I got in comp. I don't think I got past. Was it like platinum? Maybe I'm not sure. Like there's gold. I,
I don't know. I didn't get past
there
any.
was just like one. I was always literally like 4 points away almost every season, and it was just so
Yeah.
infuriating.
You're like,
Yeah,
yes.
but
Yeah.
I want to get back into it. I'm super excited.
I think same thing, but I need to get a PC
Yeah.
for it first, and then I probably should practice on like another game before I jump into
Yeah,
it.
I mean, like, I think when I first
Yeah.
started, like, trying to practice keyboard mouse stuff, I was playing, like, Portal. Like, very easy, like,
Yeah.
alright, like, familiarize yourself putting your fingers on the WASD and using, like, 1, 2, and 3 and
Mhm.
stuff like that. Like, I have a nice keyboard and mouse, but my brain is just like, I can't translate it when you play with a controller so often of your life.
From
Yeah,
controller.
it's
Yeah.
definitely tough, but I'll learn one day.
Yeah. For me, like I haven't played mouse and keyboard in a very long time because back in high school, someone put Halo 2, I think, on the server in the school, like it was just hidden somewhere. So that would be the thing that like all the kids would do is they would just go on, find Halo 2. Everybody would have like this school-wide
That's
LAN
fucking
party like in
awesome.
specific class. And I was pretty good at it then. I was like, oh, this is fun. But like I'm sure none of that is
Yeah.
retained. I feel awkward. Like I'm horrible just typing
Yeah.
in general.
It's just
so
it
I'm
is
sure it'll
tough,
be great.
especially like I feel like if I was maybe on my right hand, I would be better at it because I'm right-handed. But then my mouse with my left hand, that is a completely different battle. So I'm like, I have to figure it out one of these days. So I'll get to it, and then we'll both be on the same Overwatch 2 Pro League, playing the same characters. they're gonna have to allow it. So
Yeah, for sure. It's part of the. We don't know for sure like know the rules for
Yeah.
Overwatch League or the preferences, the
Mhm.
meta going into Overwatch 2. This is gonna
Yeah.
be it. That'll be the other part of the clickbait headline. First part is
PS5.
PS5 no
No
hacks.
hacks.
And then second part is Overwatch 2 meta
Yeah.
revealed.
Double Lucio's, double Reinhardt's.
Exactly.
Oh my
What a
god, that would be
team.
the best.
The other sports topic, because it's a sports show,
Right.
as you
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
you're the guest on it. That I wanted to talk about was
Yes.
HAIKYUU because it came up when we were both in the kind of funny
Spamming
chat when like
about-
Snowbike Mike was asking for
This is my call out again. If God forbid Snowbike Mike sees this, please watch HAIKYUU. Please watch HAIKYUU. You would absolutely love it.
It is the perfect anime for
like
him.
that is the Snowbike Mike anime. Everybody keeps throwing in chat.
He is like almost all of the
Oh my
characters.
god! Everybody keeps throwing in chat Attack on Titan. I'm like, that's too mean. He doesn't like it.
Right.
Watch HAIKYUU.
You're like,
Yes.
trust me, I'm the Attack on Titan expert.
As the Attack on Titan
Maker
representative of Kind of Funny, Snowbike
Right.
Mike should watch HAIKYUU. This is not for him.
Yeah, for
But-
sure. Yeah, he does not strike me as
I
an
think he
Attack
said
on
he
Titan
tried to
person
watch
at
it too, and he was like, "It's too gory." Like a very Snowbike Mike
Yeah.
answer. Like it's not enough
For a
friendship.
second, I thought you were saying
Oh,
saying
no.
HAIKYUU was too gory, and I was like,
Yeah, all those
whoa, what?
nosebleeds that they get when they spike the ball in each other's
Exactly.
faces. Very gory.
So, my question to you is: Have you watched all of HAIKYUU? You watched all 4
I
seasons?
didn't. I don't think I watched the second half of the 4th season, but I read it. So
Gotcha.
my
Okay.
one friend who I lost to League as well as a commemorate. Yeah.
So sorry. Yeah, this is
a memorial.
also like a league,
a friendship memorial.
This is like a
Yeah.
support group
For
for
people who lost their
friends,
friends.
people who lost their friends.
Yeah, exactly. She is a very big anime and manga person, so any sort of recommendations and things I have, I got from her. So she got me into HAIKYUU. We watched the show, and then immediately we both started reading it on the Shonen Jump app. So the manga is over, which is very sad. I love
Yeah.
it so much, and I can't wait for the show to get to the points. Like, there's just so many great points of the manga that I'm excited to see. But yeah, we just blew through it. It was just so fun to watch. I love all the characters. Everyone's just great. So wholesome. Just a wholesome time.
It is so wholesome. It's a beautiful, wonderful
is.
show. I'm still working my way through it because I'm one of the casuals who watch it on Netflix, and then I was like, oh, there's only 2
That's it.
seasons, and then my mind was immediately blown when like they're building to like the state or like the nationals and everything. And then it just kind of like ends before like one of the regional
Yeah.
tournaments, and I'm like, where's the rest of the show? And so yeah, my mind was totally blown when I found it. So I'm still working my way through season 3. Excited to get through it.
Who's your favorite? Who's your favorite character? Okay, there's many questions. There's so many questions. Because
It's
all right,
such a
we'll
hard
start. Who's your
question.
favorite team so far? Like as a whole?
Nekoma, probably. I enjoy
Yes.
Kenma
Oh,
so much.
so great.
He's maybe my
so
favorite.
great.
But then I would say Asahi might be my favorite
Aw.
character, just because he's like the gentle giant. He's very
Yeah.
friendly, but he's just so cool. And every time, I just love the animation of that show. Just every time he gets going, since he's like the tallest one too, and just it's
Yeah,
just so
he is
cool.
great.
It's just so cool.
And like he's just like you said, like the giant teddy bear that everybody loves and picks
Mhm.
on because he's so scared all the time. Like
Right.
he is great. Oh, I love him so much.
How about your favorites for your year?
I don't know if they're I'm trying to think of. I don't want to like spoil anything for you. Obviously, I'm sure.
No,
I mean, like in
go
terms
for it.
of overall team, um, I'd probably say like I can't remember like the pronunciations, like the Josai teams,
Right.
like with
Yeah,
yeah, Abu Josai.
Abajosai
Okay,
with
with
yeah.
Okaiwa and like of course then my favorite character is probably Iwazumi, um, the wing spiker for Abu Josai. I love like and his
Gotcha.
friendship with Okaiwa, like they've been friends since they were kids. So I just
Mhm.
love their dynamic.
Is he Onion Head?
No,
Is
the
that what they call
Onion
him? Is
Head,
he
he's the trying to think. Onion Head, he looks like him. Iwazumi's hair is
Gotcha.
short spike, like it's a lot shorter, and he's the other senior. I think he's the co-captain of Obajosai.
Oh, yeah. Let me look up a
Yeah.
picture of him too. We have the internet. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
remember
I
this
like
guy.
him a lot. I
Yeah,
just
he's
like
great.
that he always like knocks Okaiwa down a peg and just like bonks him on the
Yeah.
head and beats him up. Like
Okaiwa is great
yeah.
too, and just like all of the hype moments that come from that team. That was
Mhm.
I started watching that show with my girlfriend, but she fell off as she's like, no, like I'm not
No.
volleyball sports, like not my
Yeah.
thing. Um, and so, but it got to a point where when they have like those crazy matches at the end of I think end of season one or maybe season
Yeah.
two, somewhere along the way, there's tons of
Yeah.
crazy matches between them, and like I'm explaining like just everything. I'm just like, and then every time he serves it, like the crowd just goes,
Yeah, oh
oh,
my
like
god, the hype.
it's
Yeah,
so
oh my god, I
exciting.
did the same thing. I remember I had another friend who come over and like she she came over and I just popped it on, but I'm trying to like hit the main points for her. So she has a video of me standing next to my TV and I'm like, "So this is this is Kageyama and this is Hinata and they want to be like the best players and they want to go to the Olympics, but they don't get along." So and like it's just that and my friend, she's like laughing at me but also like learning a lot. So it's just like
Yeah,
goofy shit like
exactly.
that.
So one of my favorite things in talking about this show with other people is how often do you find yourself wanting to play volleyball? Have you tried to play volleyball because of this
Yes
show?
and yes.
Do you think you know everything about
It's so
volleyball?
that is really funny because the exact thing happened. We have a
Yeah.
one of my friends plays like recreational beach volleyball. So she would just
Hmm.
do like teams with like the town and stuff like that. So she knows actually how to play volleyball. And so that's when
Hmm.
our friend introduced her to the show as well. So there's one day we're like, yeah, let's all play volleyball. Like we get it. We know how to play. Obviously beach volleyball is so
Yeah.
different and it's like nowhere the
Yeah.
same, but understanding how to play is and then executing like a good spike or a set. Oh man, again,
Mhm.
it's like I'm like I feel like I'm in the anime. I'm just like yes, like
Yeah. Such
bam,
a
like
rush.
and like putting like okay, Melissa's the wing spiker. Carly's
Right.
serving. Emmy's a setter, like stuff like that. It's just so we tried so hard to be the anime, and I'm like I bet if I could play in a court, I'd be so much better.
Same
Yeah,
exact
because I'm like
thing.
the sand is just
Like
different.
the
I gotta like hunker down
yeah.
and then do all this other. It's just so funny.
That's I'm like, I can jump so high, I know I can, but because
Yeah,
of
the
the
sand is killing me,
sand.
but once the gyms are open again and we can get in there, oh man, I'm
Mhm.
gonna spike the shit out of this ball. That's exactly what happened. And we were because the Summer Olympics were supposed to happen. Me and my friend were so
Mhm.
excited to watch all the volleyball games. We were watching like Olympic
Yeah,
highlights
yeah.
from previous volleyball. I'm like, this is really fast. The anime it slows it down a lot.
Yes. It
It
slows it down. Yeah, that was one of the big things for me because my sister, she used to play volleyball in high school, and she was really good at it. So I remembered watching it then, but like not
mhm,
really caring. Like I'd be like, why is one person wear a different color
right.
jersey? Like what are these
Mhm.
rotations mean? And then watching the show, I was like, oh, I know everything about volleyball.
Exactly.
And then and then yeah, same thing. We had with my friends who were watching the show, we were desperately searching for a volleyball court. And yeah, same thing. There's just no it's just gyms that'll have like a hardcore
Yeah.
volleyball court. So it's only beach volleyball courts
Mhm.
that are open. And even then there's not a lot of
Yeah,
them
exactly. It's
in
like
just
a
in general.
backwards park, like behind the trees and through like a little path. And it's like small and they're dirty woods and everything. It's just But I was like, man, once we can get inside, I'm gonna kill it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
was like
crush it.
looking to join
But
like rec leagues. So I'm like, when the indoor rec leagues
yeah.
open in my town? Like, why do I?
That's what I want to start, like a rec league for
Yeah.
Haikyu fans that are only people who are bad at
Like we're really
volleyball.
trying, and then but
But
we
like,
actually like enter tournaments and just get absolutely obliterated.
yes, just
Yeah.
destroyed. But yeah, we ended up finding a court that was like an hour away, like in the suburbs, in a random neighborhood, and we didn't own a volleyball, so we had to buy a
Yeah.
volleyball. By the time we get there and get the volleyball, it's like
Mhm.
7 o'clock, so it's
Oh
like
my god.
nighttime, and we're playing with like our car's lights on, and the sand was so
Oh
insanely
my
cold.
god. Yeah, when we played over the summer, and the sand was so hot. So I'm like just like
Yeah.
tiptoeing, like ow, ow, ow. But like after like you have to like make a big step, and like because our friend played beach volleyball, she
Exactly.
told us she's like it's very different. Like the positions are different because it's mostly like 2-on-2.
Mhm,
Like it goes by different numbers and stuff like that. It's just all so different. I'm like, yeah,
mhm.
I got it, and I just would whiff it. I always swing with my eyes closed as if I'm like Hinata, like being a
Yeah.
pro, and I'm just like, boom, ball bounces on my head, like total cartoon moves.
What happened the first time you immediately tried to jump float serve? Because you're like, this is how the
Yeah, oh
good
my
people
god,
do
it
it.
was I can't imagine doing the big serves, and like the jump floats are like
Yeah,
I remembered like my friends like, you have to hit it like a certain part of your hand and stuff like that. So
exactly.
our but down here is all red, this is all red, like it just we're all
Yep.
like our arms.
Yeah. That's another thing with the show. You're like, why don't their
I
arms
feel like
ever
my
hurt?
arm's
Like after
bleeding
you
every
you
hit.
try
I'm
it
like,
out.
oh, jeez, this was like
Yeah.
thinnest skin on my body is my tiny little
Yeah.
forearms, and they're just burning.
Oh man. But yeah, we gotta so once this is all
Hmm.
all done, I mean we can probably start the Overwatch League team probably like tomorrow. What do you
Since we
say?
got
We start it tomorrow.
we got the meta scoop.
Exactly, figured
Yeah.
out. And then yeah, once this whole pandemic thing's over,
Yeah,
volleyball team
we'll
next
start a KF
episode.
HAIKYUU community league. And so once we all like whenever like there's like a kind of funny event, we'll schedule a game the day before. Scrimmage game.
Exactly. That they have whenever they do those like week guides for like kind of funny
Yeah.
live or anything, they're like, oh, and by the way, on Thursday there's the
Everyone's
volleyball
like,
game.
"Volleyball?" It's like, "Yeah, Matt and Melissa
Yeah.
are heading it. If you've ever watched HAIKYUU, you're gonna be fine." Like, that's all. That's
Right.
the only, like,
The
requisite you need. Just, like, watch at least one episode of HAIKYUU.
watch yeah,
Know
exactly.
about volleyball. Like, that's it.
Well, with that, let's get into these questions
Yeah.
here that we got. Uh, I'll start here with Gino Viteri, my good friend. V's in the chat,
He's in
as we
chat.
like to say.
This is gonna be nice. I
uh,
get to Just kidding.
to me, he's being very nice to me. He says, "Wow, Matt, I hope I'm not late to this. You're late. My asking streak will be ruined if you don't use this question. Melyssa, have you ever been late?"
Late? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been late to a ton of things. Uh I'm always like, all right, this is the time that you want me to be there. That's equals the time that I'm leaving to get to you at whatever time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've definitely been late before. I'm almost
Yeah.
like consistently late.
What a great
Thanks,
question,
G.
Gino. But yeah, I've just been running late on a lot of things with this show, and so things have just gotten busy. But it comes
It
out
comes
when
out
it
when it
comes
comes out. No
out.
rush.
But being late is one of the things I have the most
Mhm.
anxiety about, and it's because I've consistently been late my entire life. Like I was the kid who would show up to school like 30 minutes after you're
Oh
supposed to
my
be there
gosh.
every single
I
day,
feel
and
like
the
my
teacher just
lateness has
wouldn't
gotten
care.
worse and as I get older. Like I'm not usually late to like doctor's appointments and stuff like that. Like I try to get good with that
Yeah.
stuff and like in terms of professional
Hmm.
things I'll be good with. But once I get if
Hmm.
I get like an average like yeah, be there around like 5:36, I'm like, yep, see you at 6:15. Like
See it. Yep.
6:15 to 6:30, I'll see you there. Or like
Yeah.
yeah.
When there's that range, you're like, yeah, I'm hitting 6 and I'm gonna try to hit 6. I'm not actually
it's
gonna
like,
hit it.
oh,
I'm just gonna
5:30 to
say
5. I'm leaving at 5:45, and I'll be there when I get there. Or like with work, when we would go into the office, they're like, yeah, if you're like 10, 15 minutes late. So I'm like, all right, I'll be a half
Yeah.
hour late every day. Like, try not to take too much advantage of it, but it's still.
That's exactly like what happened to me with work, where for a while, because especially since I started as an intern, I'm like, best behavior, like I'll be there on time, if not early,
Right.
every single day. And then one day my boss at the time was like, hey, like we don't want this to be like a 9 to 5, like boring job that you hate. Just like show up whenever you want, as long as you get things
Right.
done, it's fine. And I was like,
There's all
sweet.
I needed.
And I've been late almost every
that's
day
all I needed. See
since.
you at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's like if you get your
Exactly.
work done, then that's really.
Yeah, then it's fine. There is like a level of where I don't know, it's like a relationship between professionalism, but then also like a word that I can't
Yeah.
think of. It's a relationship between
Yeah,
those
it's just
two
like
things.
casualness and like professional and like I
Yeah.
definitely tried like like our work day would start at 8:30, so I'm like, yeah, 8:45. Like I never try if I was getting in
Right.
past 9, then I'm like, I'm gonna be late. As if I'm not already late.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I gotta be there at 8:30. I'm leaving my house at 8:30. Like, but my job was 15 minutes away, so I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I could get there pretty quick. No big deal. But now we're work
Exactly.
from home.
That used to always be my excuse, was I lived like an hour away from my job. So I was like, oh man,
Traffic.
like
Yeah.
anything could go wrong living an hour. And then I moved and yeah, I'm 15 minutes away now. I'm like, oh, well, I'm still showing up at the
Just
same time.
pop your tire. It's like, oh man.
Exactly.
This
This
tire, same tire.
And then we got our next 2 questions from last week's guest,
Yeah.
Joe Wilson at Afro Cyborg. He has 2 questions for you. Question number 1. Do you think that Mike McCarthy will be able to make the Cowboys a playoff contender?
It's so hard to say that because of the, we lost Dak. That's like I
Yeah.
feel like I have hope because Jason Garrett was very frustrating to watch because there wasn't a lot of change. Like there wasn't anything exciting that we
Mhm.
saw. Like it just kept being the same plays over and over again to a point where even like
Right.
I'm noticing this stuff and I'm like, am I crazy? Like I'm not a professional.
Yeah, you're like, if I notice this, the
Yeah,
defense
yeah. Like
definitely
every team is like,
does.
before any team we play against, they're like, all right, they're gonna do these 5 plays. We watch these videos from
Right.
like every week. They're doing the same shit, so you're not gonna miss anything. And even like I follow a bunch of football players on Twitter, and they're saying the same shit too. They're like, wow, that was predictable. I'm like,
Right.
oh my god. So it's definitely frustrating. I think Mike McCarthy has something up his sleeve. I just a little bit more hope than I had with Jason Garrett.
Yeah.
Leading Aaron Rodgers to Super Bowl. That's pretty good. He's got one more
Mhm.
Super Bowl under his belt than Jason Garrett did.
Right.
So that's kind of all I need to have some sort of hope. But
Yeah.
I think that
Part of me never liked Mike McCarthy, and like I felt bad for Cowboys fans, but like you said, coming from Jason Garrett, it's still
it's like
like
it's something.
a very
It's
welcome
something.
change.
And the fact that Jason Garrett went
But
to the Giants, I'm like, ooh, okay. Like,
yeah, you're like
yeah,
win
exactly. Like
win.
we all win here. We don't have him. You guys do. I don't know what he's gonna do for you, but Godspeed, whatever it might be. But
Yeah.
I think that there's some hope. And I know when the start of the season, we just had a lot of injuries too. I think our O line was just falling apart and continues to do so. So
Yeah.
we just weren't at our.
That's been like one of the biggest problems, is like having the best O line through like a lot of the
Yes,
Jason Garrett
exactly.
era.
Nothing to show
And then it's
for
just
it.
like they're
Yeah.
old now. Yeah, exactly. They're just you still have the same people,
Yeah,
but they're just
Sean
old.
Lee's
And
breaking his foot left and right or whatever. Like he's in and out every other game, so it's like not reliable. And Van Der Esch, well, he's a good player, has literally a neck brace to keep him from breaking his neck. So
Yeah.
you never know when that's going to happen. So it's just like, and I love DeMarcus Lawrence. I think he's great. He's very aggressive, but like it's
Mhm.
more than one team. I wish DeMarcus Ware would come back. I miss him a lot, and he was a great defender. But yeah, like thinking about players like him who aren't here anymore or like left, he literally went to the Broncos and got a Super Bowl. I'm like, come on. Like
Yeah.
so clearly there's something good about him that, helped that team. We had
Yeah.
we had the pieces. And it's just Jason Garrett just didn't want to do anything with them, which is just so infuriating. So I think Mike McCarthy knows how to use these players when everybody's at the best possible health that they could be. So I'm excited for hopefully to see that kind of season if everyone's okay by September.
Yeah, I hope he does well, but I also hope like he's on a shorter leash than Jason Garrett was, because Jason Garrett got away with like way too many years.
Oh yeah. I need more.
He was there.
Yeah, because I think he just had some sort of in with the Joneses, or every player or every like employee of the Cowboys is like Jerry Jones's best friend or his son's best friend. I'm like,
right.
I don't care. Like I need a professional. I don't care how
yeah, stop hiring your friends.
It is like that. It just feels like that. I'm like, are your friends gonna get a Super Bowl wins? Because if they're not, then get them out. Like it just feels he makes it so personal. And it's so infuriating because he's still making money, so who gives a shit to him? But you have upset fans who want to beat your old ass up, man. Like it's just so infuriating.
And then our next question from Joe, he's asking if Dak's gonna remain a Cowboy or is Jerry gonna decide not to pay him?
Gosh.
And I think like a lot of that has to do with the injury too. I think there's so much with that we don't know how well that like recovery. I guess the recovery is going well because he's supposed to be back next season.
Recovery's going well. It was well enough. He did like a Sleep Number sponsorship, like in the end of the season. I'm like, this man's in a commercial.
Side note about that Sleep Number thing, that commercial uses a royalty-free song that comes from the same service that I use for work. So every time a commercial comes on, it bothers the shit out of me. I'm like, this fucking song that I've heard 900 times.
That's
from
so
this
funny.
Generic.
But I remember so I'm like, watching.
Yeah.
I forgot what we were just watching a game or whatever, and I'm like, is that? When is this commercial filmed?
Yeah,
he just got surgery. Yeah, like they referenced the surgery in the commercial. Like, how you recovering? I'm like, is this filmed the day he got out of the hospital? Like, it just felt so strange that it was so soon. And I'm like, well, he must be fine if he's doing commercials and breaking that in. But like, I think he'll be. I think he's like he's a key player that we absolutely need. We need a good quarterback. We saw what happened with Andy Dalton. That man sucks. That guy sucks. I thought. I always joked, like, that's our secret weapon, our backup quarterback who's been in the NFL for 15 years. This is it. This is the guy. Yeah. But
the red rifle.
He sucks. so I'm like, well, we need Dak. And
that was one of those things too, where like a lot of people were like, Dak's all right. Like, there's so many great receivers. Surely Dak's overhyped. Like Andy Dalton.
Yeah, that's why
no. It was not fine.
The thing about Dak is that Andy. I mean, it's just first of all, it's just speed. Like, because our O-line was falling apart at every turn and corner, Dak was able to run out and maybe get a play, get a first down or get some yards. Andy Dalton went down like a sack of bricks. Like, it's just, man can't run. And so that was so frustrating to watch, like, every game. And as soon as, like, when Dak got injured and then Andy Dalton just kept shit in the bed, I'm like, end it. Just cut the feed. Don't want to watch these games anymore. Yeah. Like it was so infuriating, and just not seeing anybody being utilized properly and people falling apart, and it was just such a hard season to watch. And at the end, I didn't even watch it. Like, turn it off.
Yeah, it's like nothing to play for. They're a boring team with Andy Dalton.
It just wasn't exciting, and so but like I just always look back to the first season that we had Dak, or I don't know if it was his first full season, because I know. Trying to think if Romo stepped down mid-season.
Wasn't it preseason Romo got hurt and then Dak?
It might have been, because I know I remember Tony made like a very like impassioned speech. Is like, I know my time and this was bound to happen, but I'm very happy to pass this on to Dak. And I was like, that's really exciting because we had just gotten Zeke too. So the two of them, like that first season when we went like 12 and oh my god, like 14-4, some shit like that. I was like, oh my god, we're a Super Bowl team. Like, this is it. And
and they're so young too. You're like, who cares if we lose this year? Like, the next 10 years.
Yeah, like we have time. Like, that first season was just so electric, and I'm like, oh my god, this is what it feels like to be a good team. This is what the Giants felt like. Like, I get it. And so like it was just so rough to like, I think we won one playoff game and then we lost But there was just like a lot. Then things started falling apart. Stuff with Des leaving and things coming back and
Mhm.
forth, and um, but then because at that time we didn't have a great defense too. So then that's when we were
Mhm.
getting like Jalen Smith and then DeMarcus Lawrence and like Van Der Esch and all these people. But then our O line started falling apart because it's
Right.
really like one.
It's constant like a leak here,
Yeah,
and then you
that's
cover
with
that, and then a new
Scotch
one pops
tape,
over
and then like
here.
we try to use like packaging
Yeah.
tape, but that's not working either. It's just like just fix the leaks, and like so I'm
Right.
hoping that 2022 Super Bowl winners.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
the
year.
year. So knowing Jerry Jones, you're our Cowboys expert. Do you think he's gonna pay Dak?
I really hope he does. This like franchise tag
Yeah.
it's so absurd. They paid, and like obviously we need a good defense. That's not to underscore anything.
Mhm.
But having Dak is not just like a good quarterback, he's like a good leader. And so there's
Yeah.
no like everybody's only had kind words to say about him. Everybody on the Cowboys wants to work with him because they know he can do it. They know he has like the wherewithal and the leadership to take them to a good place. So if Jerry Jones can't see that, I mean, I don't know what are we playing for? What do you want? Like stop holding on to we got to stop holding on to the past and
Mhm.
building, paying DeMarcus Lawrence $98 million. Why isn't that going to Dak? Like it's just so
Right.
so stupid. It's like that's one of the biggest defensive contracts ever that somebody got. Like, okay, what about our quarterback? Like,
Yeah, it's like he's great, but like this guy is about to
yeah,
need to get
like
paid.
yeah,
So
Dak and Zeke want to get paid. I wish Dak went to Cabo with Zeke until his contract. Like,
yeah.
felt a little silly, but I don't know. It's just it's like mind baffling to see that when that went on for so long. It's like, is he gonna give it? Dak's asking for this, and I see everybody arguing about it. I'm like, just pay this man. He deserves it.
Right.
His first season, he took us to the playoffs when
Right.
we got more than I don't know the last time we got more than 10 wins before that. Like we excelled like right off the gate, and it was crazy. And like after that, like after his rookie contract's over, yeah, pay that guy. Why are you paying
Yeah.
defense? Especially that much. Not that we shouldn't get a good defense, but you got to start at the top. Personally, that's what I think.
Yeah. Especially while he's
Right,
young.
he's
You have to
young.
keep him
Exactly.
there
Why not
for a
keep him
while.
there for 5, get a 5-year contract under this guy and then pass him on like if something, if anything there's like I can't think of like too many other young quarterbacks so I'm just so focused on our frustrating team.
Mhm.
But when Wentz is already he just left. Wentz won a Super
Yeah.
Bowl and he got traded
Right.
already. What are you gonna
Yeah.
do? Like, there's only. It seems like when you draft all these like superstar quarterbacks at the time when you get them, it's like there's got to be one in a million, and I feel like Dak is that guy. Like I really do. I have
Right.
high hopes, and soon he's gonna get bumped out by Trevor Lawrence and all these other young spry kids.
Other young
But
people.
I think
Right.
I just think he's got it. I think he's got the stuff, and I'm gonna beat up old man Jerry Jones if he doesn't give this man his money.
Well, you can either beat him up, or I'm
Turn him upside down and
thinking,
shake him
uh,
like so his money comes out.
whatever. Right. You do that, and then all of the profits from the HAIKYUU
Mhm.
Volleyball League, and then the Overwatch
Right.
League winnings, of course. I'm thinking you buy the
Yeah.
team, and then
Yeah,
you
I'll
pay
pay
Dak.
him. I
So
have, like, coins. It's like quarters. I'm like, so here's 85 cents."
your salary. You're like, this is under the cap, right?
Yeah.
We'll be
It's like,
fine with
Don't worry, I'll get you
the.
slide over an envelope and just change. It's just straight
Yeah.
change." And he's like, "What is this?" Like, "I wanna go make more."
Yeah. His agent's like, can we go any higher? You're like, that's all I've
It's
got.
just a
I'm
rec league,
sorry.
so I don't know. I'll have to talk to the kids. It's just and it's free. Yeah.
Start shaking the kids upside down, take
Yeah.
their money. We're like, we gotta
Yeah,
pay
it's like, "Do your parents
Dad.
have any, like, money lying around?" It's like, "Just bring it over here."
Bring all
Yeah.
your couches,
We gotta start
whatever's
shaking
in
more
the
stuff, guys. We
couch.
gotta shake it up. That'll be the HAIKYUU team motto is "Shake it up," and that just means shake your
Shake
parents'
it up.
money out of their pockets.
Right. This is just like a big money laundering.
Exactly.
Well, Melyssa, thanks so much for
Thank you
coming
so
on the
much for having
show.
me, Matt. This was so fun. I really appreciate it.
It was a blast to have you. Of course, I'm glad you
And
joined
also, the
us.
intro is sick. I should have said that in the beginning, but that was so cool. I immediately said, I was like, I told my friends, I was like, look at this, like, look how cool this is. Oh my god, they're so impressed. They
that
loved it.
that is the one thing that, like, if I can do anything with this show is to just like make really hype
Oh, it was
intros for
so
my
hype.
guests
Oh
that
my god, I love it. I'm gonna try to put that in front
love.
of
So
everything I do. I'll be like, yeah, you got to talk to Matt Batson. Ever heard of him? He made this, and it's amazing. And I'll be like, okay, what does that have to do with this? And I'm just like, I'm at Wendy's, like in the drive-through, and they're like,
yeah, you're like
yeah,
before your order, you're like, hold on,
yeah,
let
it's
me
just
play
the
this for you
sound. They
real
can't
quick.
even see it. I had to like have my phone up. Did you see this? How
Yeah,
cool it!
they're like, yeah, I like. They're like, yeah, I like Beyonce too. Like,
Yeah,
what?
it's
Who's
like,
yelling
it's
over
like,
this?
did you want that spicy or crispy? Like, just annoying everybody about it, but it's fine.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. If people enjoy you, they can follow you on Twitter at
Yep.
Melyssa with a Y. And on Twitch right now, you're streaming Sekiro. You'll be streaming more
Yep.
Souls games. Twitch.tv/
Yep.
Melyssa with a Y. Sorry, I keep
No, it's
cutting
fine.
you
I'm
off.
just agreeing. Yeah, I'm just Melyssa with a Y everywhere. It's just the easiest way to find me. I gotta copyright that soon. So,
Yeah.
but it's just
There can be no other Melissas
yeah.
with a Y.
There was like I forgot. I looked it up like the username once, and there was like a model that has her name spelled the same way. I'm like, oh boy, hope she doesn't want that. And just gonna
Yeah,
wrap that
like,
all up.
oof.
But yep, I'm Melyssa with a Y on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, however you want to find me. I'll be there. And yeah, I'll be streaming Sekiro. I don't think I'm anywhere near done with the game, but after that, I'll probably be playing Dark Souls 1. So if you want to check that out,
There you go. Very exciting.
check me out.
Check Melyssa out if you want to check me out and all the dumb stuff that I do sometimes. I'm Matt S. Batson. You probably know that because you found this through my Twitter. Unless, of course, no, because we're getting so many new audience members from the PS5
yes, the hacks
and the
Overwatch 2
Overwatch 2
League.
meta.
Yeah.
There you go. That's it. I don't know how to wrap a show.
It's fine.
That's the end.